quarter of a century ago this month, the Premier League barged into our consciousness. On the surface, it's just another name for the top division in English football, but the change that the game has undergone in the last 25 years is at least in part down to the Premier League. Football in England almost looks like a different sport to the one that emerged into a new, more glamorous and most prominently richer era in 1992. And it was money that started the whole thing. In the early 1990s, the biggest clubs in the land were dissatisfied with how the Football League was running their affairs. Even then, when the commercial arm of most clubs extended to a sporadically staffed club shop, they knew that they could get more for their money. So, a group led by David Dein from Arsenal and Liverpool's Noel White helped bring together a breakaway of 22 teams who could form the new division. Discussion quickly turned to the best way to make more money, and TV rights were identified as the key. ITV and the relatively new Sky Sports were the two serious bidders, and after a number of bids were submitted, Rupert Murdoch's satellite broadcasters were chosen, after offering what at the time was an astronomical fee of £304 million over 5 years. Ultimately, they would only pay £190 million, but this set in motion an ever-quickening freight train of money. In the next round of bidding, Sky paid £670 million over 4 years, and then in 2001 renewed for £1.2 billion. The next deal, after the calamities of NTL and ITV Digital, actually dropped to £1.024 billion, but in 2007 Santander arrived to increase competition, and between them, Santander and Sky paid £1.706 billion for the next 3 years. They were followed by ESPN and a slight increase to £1.773 billion before the arrival of BT Sport on the same scene really upped the ante. In 2013, BT and Sky paid a total of £3.018 billion. And when the latest renegotiation came in 2016, another whopping raise came, this time £5.136 billion. And that's just to show games in England. That's not the only number to have shot up in the last 25 years. In 1992, the British transfer record stood at what was then a mind-boggling £5 million, the amount Lazio paid for Paul Gascoigne. The highest fee paid by a Premier League club was for Alan Shearer, bought for £3.6 million, and heads were shaken and hands were wrung when Blackburn paid £5 million for Chris Sutton a couple of years later. Andy Cole cost £7 million. Liverpool paid £8.5 million for Stan Collymore, but the big one came in '96 when Shearer once again moved for the mind-boggling fee of £15 million. For a while, that figure could not be beaten, but after a few other jumps, Manchester United shelled out a total of nearly £60 million for Juan Sebastian Veron and Rio Ferdinand in successive summers. The latter move went pretty well, but you can't say the same for Andrei Shevchenko, the Premier League's first £30 million player, and Robinho, who Manchester City panic-bought for £32.5 million in 2008. Millions have been spent since then, naturally, but perhaps until later this summer, Manchester United again sit atop the transfer spending tree, the £89 million spent on Paul Pogba being a British and world record fee. Quite a leap since the now paltry sum Shearer went for a quarter of a century ago. But it's perhaps fitting that United lead the money table, as they top most of the other numbers too. In the all-time Premier League table, United are obviously top, having gained 2,021 points in 962 games, 199 points ahead of Arsenal. They've won 604 games, that's more than all but 12 of the other 49 teams to appear in the Premier League have even played. They have a positive goal difference of 1,009. Only 7 other teams have even scored more than 1,000 goals. At the bottom, Swindon, who only collected 30 points in their only ever Premier League season, 92-93. Tottenham Hotspur have conceded the most goals at 1,231, but Sunderland have the worst goal difference at -292. Only 2 teams to have played over 20 seasons in the Premier League have a negative goal difference. Aston Villa on -69 and West Ham with -182. The last 25 years have been dominated by ever-increasing numbers, collections of digits that simply wouldn't make sense to even those who existed in the early 90s era when footballing excess was a burgeoning concept. Who knows how much these numbers will grow in the future? Grow.